Imagine this. You get a raise or a new, higher paying job. You feel a surge of excitement as you think about all the things you can now afford. Dining out more, upgrading your phone, or even moving into a nicer apartment. But here's the twist. If you're not careful, that extra income can disappear just as fast as it arrived. This phenomenon is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the biggest obstacles to building lasting wealth. Today, we're diving into how you can resist the pull of lifestyle creep so you can save and invest more without feeling like you're missing out. Let's start with why lifestyle inflation happens. When we earn more, we naturally want to improve our quality of life. But often, this turns into mindless spending on things that bring temporary satisfaction but don't truly add to our long-term happiness or goals. The trick isn't to cut out everything you enjoy. It's about making conscious choices that align with what you truly value. Imagine redirecting that extra money into something that will grow over time, like investments or a savings fund, rather than letting it vanish on things you barely notice a month later. The first step in beating lifestyle inflation is to create a financial buffer zone whenever your income increases. Before you make any changes to your spending habits, take a pause. Resist the urge to splurge immediately after getting a raise or bonus. Instead, set aside a percentage of that new income, ideally 50% or more, into savings or investments. By doing this, you're effectively paying yourself first, ensuring that a chunk of your income is going towards future goals before it even hits your spending accounts. Here's a powerful tip. Automate your savings increases. Let's say you get a 10% raise. You can set up an automatic transfer that directs an additional 5% of your new income straight to your savings or investment account. Because it's automated, you won't even feel the difference in your day-to-day spending, but your savings will grow significantly over time. This one habit is like setting up a personal safety net, where each income increase directly fuels your financial future. Another key strategy is focusing on value-driven spending. Ask yourself, what do I truly value? For instance, if you love travel but don't really care about the latest tech gadgets, prioritize spending on trips rather than the newest phone or laptop. By aligning your spending with what actually matters to you, you'll be more satisfied with your choices, and you'll avoid the trap of buying things just because you can afford them. Value-driven spending isn't about restriction. It's about intentionally choosing where your money goes, so it brings lasting satisfaction rather than short-lived pleasure. Let's get practical. Take a look at your recent purchases and ask yourself, did this really bring me joy or help me achieve a goal? Be honest. Often, we buy things on impulse or because we think they'll improve our lives. But the reality is that they just add clutter or take up mental space. This reflective exercise is crucial for resisting lifestyle inflation because it forces you to identify what's truly worth spending on versus what's just a temporary thrill. Now, here's an interesting mindset shift. Treat your raises as an opportunity for investment rather than lifestyle upgrades. If you view each income increase as fuel for your long-term financial freedom, you're far more likely to make choices that benefit you in the long run. For example, instead of upgrading your car every few years, keep driving your current one and invest the difference. The same goes for housing. Just because you can afford a bigger apartment doesn't mean you need it. By maintaining your lifestyle while increasing your income, you create a surplus that accelerates your path to financial independence. Let's talk about defining enough. Often, lifestyle inflation is driven by the sense that we need more to be happy. But how much is enough? Take some time to reflect on what a fulfilling life actually looks like for you, financially, personally, and professionally. Setting an intentional enough point helps you resist the social pressure to constantly upgrade. This could mean sticking with the essentials that bring you comfort and happiness rather than splurging on things that only impress others. When you know what enough is for you, it's easier to avoid unnecessary spending as your income grows. Another powerful tool is the wait before you upgrade rule. Let's say you're considering a purchase, like a new phone or a fancier car, simply because you can now afford it. Rather than jumping in right away, wait a month and see if you still want it just as much. Often, the urge fades, and you'll realize it wasn't worth the money after all. This waiting period gives you the space to make decisions based on your actual needs rather than fleeting impulses. An effective tactic for maintaining financial discipline as your income grows is to surround yourself with like-minded people. If your friends or colleagues are constantly upgrading their lifestyles and talking about their latest purchases, it can be challenging to resist the urge to keep up. But if you have friends who prioritize savings, investing, or experiences over material goods, you're more likely to feel supported in your own goals. This doesn't mean cutting off people, but rather being mindful of the influences around you that might unconsciously push you towards lifestyle inflation. Finally, let's talk about tracking your financial progress. It's easy to lose sight of your goals when you're simply earning and spending on autopilot. But by tracking your savings rate, investments, and progress towards financial independence, you'll feel motivated to continue on the path you've set. Seeing your savings grow and knowing you're on track to reach bigger goals, like buying a home, retiring early, or starting a business, can be far more satisfying than any temporary upgrade. To wrap it up, beating lifestyle inflation is about being conscious, intentional, and disciplined with each new dollar you earn. Instead of letting your expenses rise along with your income, resist the temptation to inflate your lifestyle. By creating financial buffers, focusing on what truly matters to you, and tracking your progress, you can build a life of freedom and security. You're not just making more money, you're using it to create lasting wealth, which is far more rewarding than any temporary purchase could ever be.